Italian game. The Italian is chess in its purest form. Develop your knight, develop your bishop, castle quickly, fight for the center. Everything simply makes sense. It's the opening your coach wants you to play. Your engine approves, your parents approve, even your opponent secretly approves. If chess had a tutorial level, this would be it. Ruy Lopez. The Ruy Lopez starts almost exactly like the Italian until the bishop suddenly ignores the center and attacks the knight. At first glance, it looks strange. Why attack a knight that's protected? Because that knight protects the e5 pawn. Remove the defender, and suddenly the center starts collapsing. The Ruy Lopez isn't about winning material. It's about slowly squeezing your opponent until they can't move. Playing against a strong Ruy Lopez player feels like being trapped in quicksand. Nothing terrible happens until somehow you're completely losing. Scotch Game. Some players don't enjoy slow chess. The Scotch was invented for them. Instead of patiently building pressure, white immediately opens the center. Pieces fly out. Trades happen instantly. The position becomes tactical before either player has time to breathe. If the Italian is a chess lesson, the Scotch is speed dating. Queen's Gambit. Despite the name, this isn't really a gambit. White offers the c-pawn. Black can take it. But keeping that pawn is like borrowing someone's lawnmower and expecting them to forget. They're coming back for it. The real goal isn't sacrificing material. It's distracting black long enough to take over the center, which is why this opening has survived for more than 500 years. King's Gambit. The King's Gambit asks one question. What if I just attacked? Immediately. White throws away the f-pawn before most games have even started. It's risky. It's aggressive. It's slightly unhinged. In the 1800s, people believed this was the correct way to play chess. Then engines arrived and politely informed everyone it probably wasn't. Still, few openings create chaos faster. London system. The London doesn't care what black wants. Whatever your opponent plays, you're probably putting your bishop on f4, knight on f3, pawn on e3, pawn on d4. Some people call it boring. London players call it consistent. Everyone else calls it, why do I always lose to this? Sicilian Defense. The Sicilian begins with one move and immediately says, I'm not playing a peaceful game. Instead of matching white's center, black attacks it from the side. This creates imbalance. Imbalance creates winning chances, which is why almost every world champion has trusted the Sicilian. It's also why opening books about the Sicilian are somehow thicker than actual dictionaries. Caro-Kann. The Caro-Kann is the exact opposite. Black doesn't want fireworks. Black wants stability, strong pawn structure, safe king, few weaknesses. Playing against the Caro-Kann feels like trying to punch a brick wall. Eventually, your hand hurts more than the wall. French defense. The French looks passive. Black starts with e6, locking in their light-squared bishop. Why would anyone voluntarily trap a bishop? Because black plans to challenge the center later with d5. The bishop may be miserable, but the rest of the position usually isn't. French players simply accept that one piece won't enjoy the game. Scandinavian. Most openings wait before developing the queen. The Scandinavian says, no thanks. Black immediately challenges the center with d5. After the pawn exchange, the queen often comes out on move 2. Normally that's illegal in the court of opening principles. Here, it's completely fine. English opening. The English starts with c4. Instead of occupying the center, white controls it from the side. It's flexible, quiet, and slightly mysterious. The funny part? Half the time, the English eventually becomes a completely different opening anyway. It's the opening equivalent of saying, I'll decide later. King's Indian Defense. Most openings fight for the center immediately. The King's Indian lets white have it, temporarily. Black calmly develops, castles, fianchettos the bishop, then suddenly launches every pawn toward your king. It's one of the few openings where both players are attacking, on opposite sides of the board, at the same time. Whoever gets there first usually wins. Nimzo Indian. The Nimzo Indian teaches one lesson. Pins are annoying. Black pins white's knight almost immediately. That tiny pin creates long-term pressure. The knight can't move. The center becomes harder to defend. Small inconvenience, huge consequences. Dutch defense. Most players protect their king. Dutch players move the f-pawn on move 1. Bold strategy. This weakens black's king, but also gives immediate control over e4. It's aggressive, risky, and usually leads to exciting games. Exactly what Dutch players want. Pirc defense. The Pirc is patient, very patient. Black allows white to build a huge center. Some beginners panic. Isn't white winning? Not necessarily. Black plans to attack that center later. The Pirc is basically chess procrastination. I'll deal with it tomorrow. Alekhine defense. The Alekhine begins with something that feels illegal. Black voluntarily lets white chase the knight around the board. Most beginners think, I'm winning. Experienced players know that's exactly what black wanted. Every pawn white pushes creates another target later. Sometimes the biggest trap is giving your opponent exactly what they wanted. Bird opening. Imagine playing the Dutch, but with white. That's basically the bird. Aggressive, slightly risky, not very common, which means most opponents won't know what they're doing. Sometimes surprise is worth more than perfection. And finally, the opening everyone knows, the bong cloud. Move your king on move 2, destroy every opening principle ever written, confuse your opponent, confuse yourself. Somehow, grandmasters have actually played it, mostly as a joke, which proves one important lesson. When you're Magnus Carlsen, you make the opening famous. When the rest of us play it, we lose in 12 moves.